We are today with Evyatar David. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for being with us today. You're Evyatar David's brother. He's 23 years old. He has been taken hostages in Nova Festival. Can you, first of all, tell us what happened for you, for your family, on the 7th of October?
Yeah, so on October 6th, I had a normal Shabbat dinner with my family dinner, like every week. And I gave my brother a hug and a kiss, and I said Shabbat Shalom like every week. And he took my mom's car, picked up his friends, and went south. Usually we sit after Shabbat dinner, we sit to play together. He played the guitar and I played the piano. And he just went south. But we, it was like completely normal for us that my brother leaves for a party. And the next morning we woke up to the sirens. Because really the rockets arrived all the way to Tel Aviv and even farther. And immediately we started texting my brother to check on him. And he said something like, the party is over. Like they're blowing up the party. And we didn't understand what he means. I mean, it can be translated both ways. So he said, yeah, the party is over, but there are actually rockets above our heads, like hundreds of rockets exploding above our heads. And then we understood that something bad is going to happen. And after an hour and a half, at 7:42 a.m. at the morning, the connection with him, the connection lost. He sent his last message to us. He sent something like, we're going to the cars. And after the connection with him lost, his friends also lose connection with us one by one. At 9 a.m., one of his best friends, Ron, she called to her mother, crying and yelling that they are shooting around her all the time and explosions, and she don't know what to do. And the military said, go one way. And she felt surrounded at that point. Ron, unfortunately, we know that she didn't survive the events. So we were in complete darkness for the after like something like six hours of really nothing. We scanned the internet. We made dozens of phone calls. The military, the police, government, everyone, but no one had an answer. And I actually at that point I didn't know what's better, if my brother is alive but kidnapped, or dead. And I was prepared actually to the possibility that I will bury my brother, my little brother, at that point. And it was very painful. And in at 2 p.m. we got somehow 2 links to videos on Telegram, and I was sure that we're going to watch execution videos. So my sister got those links, and I took her phone because I didn't want her to see her brother being executed. And I saw in the first video, I saw my brother being dragged by a terrorist inside Gaza Strip, and he was his shirt was turned, and his hands were tied behind his back, and he was walking on his feet, which was very important at that time. And we saw on the other video, my brother inside a dark room. He was alongside 4 other young men. One of them was my brother's best friend from kindergarten, which is also something that it still comforts me somehow, that he was kidnapped with his best friend, which is crazy. And all of these 5 young men were abducted from the festival. We understood it only later. But at that point, we didn't know what's going on. And I saw, like the cameraman was making sure that we'll see their faces, that we'll recognize them. He wanted us, actually, he wanted to us to feel confused and full of fear. But we saw my brother alive. So it was like this strongest sign of life. And that I was filled with anger. That's what I felt in those moments. I was furious. I was cursing for 5 minutes straight. But then I said to myself, okay, my brother's alive and we can save him. And we'll do everything to save him. And the first week was really horrible, but I think after that we started to really act and tell the story and meet people.
And today, what are your feelings? And do you have the impression that everything is done to make your brother come home?
It's day 161. It's 5 months and a week, and it's far too long. I mean, at first I was sure that it will end like in 1 day, maybe 2 days, maybe a week. Every week that ended, I said, okay, next week it's okay, it's close. But after the first deal, after 50 days, I understood that it's gonna take a long time, and maybe even much more than I thought. And then I understood we have to prepare ourselves to that possibility, that we'll have to wait so much and fight so much, like a marathon. And I feel that nothing is enough, because we're waiting for more than 160 days, and it shouldn't happen. So every day that passes, it's a failure for all of us. All of us are failing to bring them back home. I do believe that our leaders are trying their best. I do believe them, and I met most of them in person. But maybe there's ways they didn't try or didn't consider even. I mean, they have to be very brave and think out of the box to really succeed in this thing. I mean, it's the most complicated problem that the state of Israel have ever faced, and maybe one of the most complicated problems that the West world had to face.
What is your message today to French people, to anyone that can hear you today?
First thing, I want you to remember and understand, maybe try to understand the pain that we have to bear, that my family faces for 161 days. It's something I cannot describe. But it's important for me that the French people will understand how much pain we have to suffer And there's something else. We also need everyone in that struggle. We need each and every one of you to support us, to help us, to show solidarity, and even send an email, make a phone call to your leaders, to your politicians. Make sure that the most important thing is to bring our loved ones home, to bring those civilians to their families. It's really a matter of human lives that we can save, and we cannot do it alone. We really cannot do it alone, and we need every help that we can get.
How would you describe Evyatar?
That's my favorite question. He's my little brother, so I know him through the eyes of the older brother. And when he was young, we were teasing each other all the time. And he was like a little demon. He was running around all the time. He had long curly gold hair, and he was like a little Tarzan. When he got older, he learned to play the guitar, and he became super good at it. As I said before, we love to play together. He can sit literally hours in his room, the door's locked, and playing the guitar, trying to learn complicated lines, and he doesn't leave the room. If he didn't manage, he will not leave the room. And he's the sweetest boy I know. He has such a gentle soul and strong center. His friends, all of them are telling the same story. They tell that my brother Evyatar is like the psychologist of the group. If they have any problems, they go to him. He doesn't do a lot of noise and he's humble, but they know that if they need someone who listens, they go to him.
Thank you very much, Eli, for having told us a lot about your brother, and of course we are hoping him to go back home soon. Thank you.
Thank you.